Yeah, isn't that weird?
Dude, if you cannot park your truck, you should not be driving that truck.
We get 2 people in cars.
That's awesome.
All right. We're recording. All right, go ahead.
All right, so we're Children of the Crossroads, and this is Threads of Wisdom. The Threads of Wisdom was created by the Golden Thread Grove in Idaho. It is a teaching tool for your year and a day, pagan basics. And each week that you attend, you will receive an image of the topic we discussed. Golden Thread Grove has requested that these images not be distributed to anyone that has not participated in a discussion on a particular topic. At the end of the year, you'll have your 52 cards that can also be used as a divination tool. What we like to call our Wicca decks for any Pokemon fans out there. And each one has a different topic on it that we, like I said, talk about each week. My name is Silent as Stardust. I am High Priest of Children of the Crossroads. This is my wife, Lola, our High Priestess.
Hello.
And
That's how I talk to. Hello.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And we are on week 35 this week. And this week's discussion is Father. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the picture up, and we can talk about what we get from it.
Sure.
Teams works with us.
Yeah, Teams has been a real go screen. Hopefully it works. Oh, I should have done window.
Yeah, here's the other screen.
Go back.
Oh, where is there?
Right there. And now. Sure.
Let's try that again.
Window.
Yeah.
I'm used to it being the other way around.
Yep. And
there it is. You had it. It's right there.
There we go. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
So when you're looking at that image, for those who aren't driving or who can look, what emotions or feelings do you get?
It's weird.
Originally, I thought it was a chick in a dress holding a knife. But now I realize it's actually father.
So we have to explain, these images are not ours. It's
No.
the coven that Golden Thread Grove
created.
Why they chose some of these images, I don't know why, but they definitely start conversations, and that's the point of them. So
What do you think?
I just think it's very. I feel it's discipline. What is that?
Yeah.
It's a scimitar.
I don't even know what the hell that is.
It's a pirate. It's a pirate type of sword.
I feel it's very. I really, compared to last week's Mother image, which was really cool, this one I'm not a fan of. It just, I feel like it's Puritan discipline, like the ultimate energy of that type of father, a little intimidating,
very domineering,
going to discipline.
When I look at it, I get a pirate feeling, and I don't think that's what you're supposed to get from the feeling of father. It looks like he has an eye patch on.
It does.
And he's got a sword in his hand, so he's like, "All hail the mighty waves as I go attack, and I'm not with my family.
And I'm getting my booty."
Yeah, I don't understand this one.
It's weird.
When I first looked at it, because I was glancing, because I'm driving. I'm almost home, though. It looked like Merlin with his hands up. But then when I was able to blow it up and look at it a little bit bigger, the knife in his hand reminds me of Harvest, which is kind of like that father energy rather than the young male, the man who brings in the harvest. I don't know. That was kind of what I got.
That's very much apropos to that father energy. As Wiccans, as what we talk about is the sacrifice and the cutting of away of things. Sabbats deal with a lot of that. Sabbats have that father male energy a lot of times.
Most of them are for
the god.
Male.
Yeah, for the male. I gotta put lotion on.
Can I ask a question real quick that pertains to the Sabbats and the Asbats?
Yes.
So I'm very new, more or less, to Wiccan, witchcraft, paganism, the whole deal, more or
Okay.
less. I was told that, going along the lines of what you guys are saying, that the Sabbats are the male equivalents, whereas the Sabbats are the female or the lunar
Right.
type of equivalents. Is that correct?
Yes.
In general, yes.
In traditional, in the traditional type of Wicca that we practice, and that a lot of covens practice, yes, but there are different traditions. So in the tradition that's common that you hear of, that yes, the Sabbats are about the god mostly,
Yep.
and the Espits are for the goddess because it's the moon.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome.
So,
You can stop sharing.
yeah, I'm
it.
gonna take the picture off here. It's just such a weird picture.
It's so weird to me, but it brings up some weird father issues too.
Yeah, it's very patriarchal on this
It's
one,
very patriarchal.
and we're all about balance and equality and the yin yang, animus, anima concepts, and so this imagery is just really rough for me, especially as a father, because while my kids and my coven mates respect me, they don't fear me, and that's an imagery of fear, not of respect.
That's what I got from it too, but that might be because we have it might trigger a weird father type. We had very domineering fathers. I mean, I still do, but he's got dementia, so he's not that domineering anymore. But overall, the majority of my life, my father was a very domineering man. Do you want to pull up the notes?
Yeah. When I was looking at it, what it almost makes me feel is, no one's gonna die dancing.
What?
Footloose. I get John Lithgow's character off of that.
Yeah, there's no dancing's been outlawed.
Yeah, dancing's gonna kill people. You dance, you die. So, some notes. When it talks about father, protection, strength, provider. I know, for me personally, the transition from being the young page male to a father, I look at things much differently and how I handle things. And it's more of the we instead of the me.
Yeah, what's good for the family, what's
Yeah.
the sacrifice. The stereotypical patriarchal father is the one that goes to work. And we the traditional roles.
Kind of what's good for the goose is good for the gander,
Yeah.
vice versa.
Yeah, and like in our house here, it's a little more. We're not very traditional in any other way except he goes to work and I stay home. That's about as traditional as we get. Everything else is a little different how we do it, but
Yep. And it works for us, but it is a role that I have grown into, and then I know it's really helped with me in the craft to become a better father and have more of that mindset in all aspects of my life, and looking at big picture concepts instead of microcosms.
What do you guys think about father energy and how it relates to your craft?
I personally have no experience with it because I grew up without a dad.
Okay.
Did you have any male figures that you respected and looked up to?
Absolutely not. We were other than my little brother, we were an entirely female household.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So even with that, so like last week when I was talking with someone about mother energy, it's the same concept. Father energy doesn't mean you have to be a father to understand this, or you have to be male to understand this. That's what this is about, is working with that projective energy of the father, and those energies we're talking about. All this stuff here, we can be in our lives. Teacher, provider, protection. It's a little old-fashioned and outdated because I think nowadays it doesn't these things don't need to be under the father label only. They can be under whatever role you play, but this particular one has it divided up in mother energy and now father energy.
I think that it kind of reminds me, so like when we did the Lamas Esbot, Sabot, whatever.
Yeah.
We did that thing for school. They talked about the Holly and the Ivy King.
Mhm.
And they talked about how, the exchange of energy changes because you go from that young man to that old man energy where you're willing to sacrifice for the family. Or if you don't have a family, you make sacrifices in your life for the things that you want.
Yep.
Yeah.
A little bit of this to get that or whatever, we all do it. We all make little choices every day where we go, well, I want this and I want this, but I can't have both. So how am I going to make myself happy with what I can do? And so that's just kind of what it reminds me of.
Absolutely. That's exactly the type of energy that we try to work with as witches, is that father energy, male energy, projective.
The projective, yeah.
Oh, there's
Okay.
Bree.
Hello, Bree. You're on mute.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late.
You're good.
Okay.
We're just talking about father tonight and the energy of it being protection, strength, provider, teacher, and what that means to us. Whether it's a male figure or a person who was a mentor.
Or us being a mentor to someone, having those energies to work with. And Ariel just brought up the Lammas Sabbath that just passed us, was about the sacrifice of the Holly King, basically, or the Holly King taking over the Oak King.
Yeah.
And that transition of the Oak King's energy, which is fresh and new and life, and kind of fun. And then you go into this time of year, which is more serious, and you've got the Holly King that takes over, and he's the older, the wiser one, looks incredibly like Santa Claus. And he's the one that this is just about, you don't have to be a man to have father energy. This is the energy of the seasons that we cycle through.
Not getting ready for the fun of summer, getting ready for the long of winter. So prepping, making, like I said, making preparations, preparing for the food, the long haul, making sure you have heat, all the things that we have to do as a society, even in the modern world, to prepare for the changing of the seasons. Got to get out the clothes that we need. Got to do those activities.
So there's a little bit of this old-fashioned thing in this that it talks about, but it's really not when you start talking about the energy of our craft and whatnot.
No, it's not male female on this one. It's
well, now I'd like to bring up, Bree brought up something I heard you say yesterday, being a single mom, and you play both roles, right, of mother and father, which a lot of people do, right?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
that's you put on both of those hats and become both of that energy. And how do you think does that help you in any way understand your role in your craft and what we study? Because we do study a lot about projective and receptive, male and female energy, yin and yang, that kind of stuff. Have you ever thought about how that affects you as a pagan or as a witch?
I never thought about it in that aspect. No, I think a lot too with the world evolving and changing, and hopefully continuing in a positive way with all these gender reversal roles.
Yeah.
Now it's okay for a dad to be a stay-at-home dad. Now it's okay for the mom to be a CEO of a company. And
Yep.
I think that that's just so beautiful. I think that's so amazing. Just because you're a man doesn't mean you have to be the CEO. Just because you're a woman doesn't mean you have to wash the dishes. You know
Yep.
what I mean? So
Listen,
I like that what we're coming into in this world, and people aren't afraid to say, well, I'm going to be a stay-at-home dad. Like, that's pretty awesome. And that's a lot of courage.
We did that for a while when the kids were really little. I worked and he stayed home. So yeah, and now we've switched because I like.
I always said my fantasy is to come home from work and have dinner already made.
There you go. You need a fairy in the house or that's
Brownie.
like Tinkerbell or something.
Well, if you guys can find me a decent man.
Um,
I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Real
all right.
quick.
So it's weird because with the, as you guys are talking about the changing world that we're in now, getting rid of the standard roles, the historical roles that we've played, we have to re-identify how we teach these lessons that were typically taught by the male or the female, whether it's the nurturing aspect, the provider aspect. So it's hard to figure out how to talk about this without trying to not be offensive and not include someone's not include their what they're going through in their life and how they're having to provide and take on both roles, or when you have same gender couples, who takes what role, or do they each take each of the roles and switch between them? And these are things that we have never had to been asked in history up until the last 5-10 years. So I think this might be something that we might have to address if we remake this deck going forward and how we name this.
I like that. What would we
Yeah.
name it? What would be like a gender neutral name for this?
Maybe matured projective
Ooh, big words. Let me get my dictionary. No.
instead of father, and because before this it was mother, page, maiden, and so instead of giving those gendered roles, we can say young receptive or young projective, aged or matured, and then ancient or elder when we
Yeah.
get to sage and crone.
Yeah.
And so that might be something that we would consider doing. And we've talked about in previous weeks changing up some of the graphics, and this would be another one that would be an excellent one to get rid of, because I am not a fan of this card the way it's drawn up.
Did I miss the picture?
Yeah, it's I will put it back up on screen. It is not one that really spoke to any of us.
Really?
Right here. It's back on screen for you, Bree.
Oh, thank you so much. Sorry I was late. I was stuck at work.
It's okay. It's a very authoritarian, very
Very.
it doesn't strike you as loving dad.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Right? They would have been
Definitely
better off
like throw the hammer
Santa
down.
Claus with
Dad.
kids on his lap.
Say that again, Ariel.
I said they would have been better off putting Santa Claus with kids on his lap.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been much more representative of maybe what they're trying to express than the image that they chose. But
Well, and we got to remember, this was made over 20 years ago when this was originally put together. So the world has evolved greatly, and especially in the Wiccan and pagan communities, the role of male has changed a lot, and what the father figure was, and we're getting rid of those traditional roles. We're still a coven that does high priest, high priestess. There are covens that are doing priest X, high priest X, high priest X, and things like this. And so, where the craft is having to evolve with society.
I think that's
Makes
great
sense.
though. To be able to evolve with society,
Yeah.
Change is good. Scary, but good.
Well, change for the right reasons, not change just for change. There's a difference.
Right.
And I think that gets lost in a lot of ways. Well, but you know what? That only comes with experience. And
Excuse me for a moment. I have to step out.
Oh, you're fine. It only comes with experience. Do we learn that? So when we're younger and when we're in the maiden or page aspect, we're not aware. We haven't experienced it. How are you supposed to know? When you get into mother and father, as they call it here, you've lived life a little bit. You've learned things. You can now impart that knowledge, and hopefully that the next, or your progeny, or what your students or whatever the people you're mentoring can pick up and will learn from your mistakes, your successes. And, some of it can be taught, some of it just has to be experienced.
Yeah, both of my little brothers, they're excellent fathers. They make me proud. I like to watch them because they are so much more nurturing than, what we grew up with as being demonstrated to us. Like our dad was always gone. He was a truck driver for the first formative years of our lives. So he'd come home, he'd throw down the discipline, and then he was gone again. And so I found it very, very impressive to watch my younger brothers kind of develop a lot differently than what we were modeled. So
that happens a lot.
Yeah.
I was raised in a very, very old-fashioned traditional home where the mom stayed home and she was super involved with the kids, and my dad worked all the time and would come home and just be kind of grumpy with us and not really know what was going on. And he was very he was the disciplinarian, the just wait till your dad gets home kind of thing. And he wasn't a very I love my dad, and he loved us. I know he loved us, but he didn't show affection. He didn't show a lot of that kind of nurturing or,
Yeah, my dad has reaped what he sowed because none of us seek out that connection with our dad because, well, he just never gave two fucks. He was always gone, always doing his own thing. It was all about what he had going on, and he'd squeeze us in for a fishing trip every once in a while.
Yeah.
It wasn't that he was a terrible dad, but
he just wasn't present.
He wasn't present.
He has definitely reaped what he has sown because out of 10 of us, yeah.
Can I say too, though, that also goes with the father role too, is, them working a lot to provide for the family, especially when they have a mom that has to stay at home with the children. I mean, I can say as doing both parts, like it's so freaking hard because I know that I have to come home and nurture as well. And after being with people 11 hours a day, hearing complaints and solving problems, it's like the last thing you want to do. You just want to crack open a beer. But you have to figure out how to make it work. And like Ariel was saying with her family situation, that's really cool that those boys broke the cycle. Those men broke the cycle and became men for their children. And that's really important, especially when you grow up in a home where it's not very loving or safe. Is learning how to break the cycle. That's the hard part because you kind of learn from what you see and grow up with, and then you take that on your own unless you challenge yourself not to. Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Okay, good. You can hear me. Sorry.
When we were talking earlier about when I used to work and he stayed at home, and it was great, but I was so stressed out at work. I would come home and really not be involved with the kids because I was so stressed out at work. It was difficult for both of us. Maya?
Yeah.
Can you mute that? Because your background sound is taking over.
Bleeding through.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. And I would come home and I'd be so tired from work that I turned into my dad. Actually, I was just like grumpy and the kind of come home and kick the dog kind of thing. I wouldn't kick the dog, but and I was missing out on all these things that I really wanted to experience with my kids. So we switched back, and he was actually happier too. He likes staying home with the kids, but he, for whatever reason, if it's DNA, if it's inherently that role that we have, I don't know what it is, but he likes being not loves it, but he likes to feel he's providing in the way of working. That fulfills him. He feels he's making his contribution to our family. And I like to be at home with the kids and do the nurturing and stuff like that because that's how is important for me. That's not for everybody.
No. One thing I'm wondering though, Lola,
what?
Do you feel like having that experience was maybe a part of understanding and appreciating your dad?
Yes. Absolutely.
even though
Because-
it didn't fit and it felt weird. I mean,
Yeah.
I would think that maybe that would give you the opportunity to appreciate
Oh,
his struggle a little bit better.
It changes perspective.
yes, it does.
Yeah.
And I understood why my dad was so grumpy when he came home from work
What-
and wouldn't really be involved with us, except to the point of the bills were always paid, the food was always on the table. He gave us rides to where we needed to go. He did his job. But he was not an affectionate person, and he was very intimidating. But he did his job, what he felt was important, and we didn't ever go without. So,
And it made me appreciate being a stay-at-home dad during those times of what a stay-at-home parent goes through.
Right.
When you're home all day with kids, you can't wait to see another grown human being.
You're like,
So
It's
true.
just to get to have a full conversation with real words and real subjects, not what you just saw on Backyardigans or whatever.
yeah, depending on the age of your kids. And then, of course, if you have teenagers like I do, and like all teenagers, it's all about them. It's very self-involved. It's very much their drama, what's going on with them. So there's never really a chance for me to have like interaction, and share my life as a woman with someone, and talk about that. So
And it's interesting how the world changes as your students, tutors, children, whatever the father role you're taking is, how it changes over time.
it evolves.
Yep.
That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to evolve our roles, and they change with the times.
And learning how to handle each one differently. That's been a big step as a parent, is knowing that or not go out.
I don't know. Can you guys still hear us?
yes.
Okay.
Our internet's being really weird. But then, like us, we do the traditional role of he works, I stay home. But like I said, we're not really traditional because we do 50-50 of everything. So he doesn't just come home and kick the dog and not be involved with the kids. He's involved with the kids a lot, as much as
And
he
he
can.
cooks.
And he cooks.
And he cooks and he cleans.
I
and he-
don't cook. You don't want me
Good.
cooking. You just don't. You just don't. I've cooked before. It's
Right, like in a hitch, you can handle it, but
yeah, it's touch and go.
not your passion.
I burn things and I light things on fire in the kitchen. So
Oh, are you like the Sim that always had a fire going on?
it's
Sims.
just I'm not a kitchen person. I don't know my way around a kitchen very well. I can't chop things very fast because I hate knives. It's a long history of not ever needing that skill because I've somehow always dated people that like to cook.
Number one quality, she looks. So I
So-
don't care how you look, and I don't care how much money you make. Are you able to cook?
Can you cook?
You make good food. Can you feed me?
Yeah, just feed me. I'll be happy. So, but we take on those different roles. Sometimes I'm more of what you would call the disciplinarian, and he sometimes is more of sits back and is more doesn't be the heavy hand of the father. You know what I mean? I do that sometimes. I'm like, all right, kids, what, but then we'll switch. We just sometimes I feel like I need to nurture and he needs to discipline, and we're very aware of switching that energy back and forth. And I think that's
It is a sharing process.
Yeah.
And that's something that's evolved over time. It's much more modernized in the family structure that everyone takes responsibility to some degree.
Right? You see more and more posts where we're like saying, hey, there's one about a guy who says, I don't help my wife. I live here too. I eat off those dishes. I wear those clothes. I mean, I don't help my wife. This is how it should be. It should be a team effort.
Yeah.
Where I fail, you pick up. Where you fail,
Yeah.
I pick up. It's never 50-50. Some
No.
days it's going to be 100-0. Other
Yes.
days it's going to be 80-20.
But we're okay with that, and that's how that energy should be.
Right.
It's kind of how what needs to be applied today, not just in our lives, but in our magic and our craft, because when we talk about the male energy, the father energy, that stereotypically you think of protector and that. So even in our coven, as high priest and high priestess, we switch roles a lot with that energy. There are times when I'm more of the hard ass, even though I would be. I'm a nurturer. That's why I like to stay home. I'm naturally. I'm a caregiver. I like to take care. I love hugs, and I'm very, oh, you need emotional support, and you need hugs, and you need love, and you need this. But in our coven, sometimes most of the time, I'm kind of the hard ass. Like what you would
You're
say.
the one with the ruler smacking everybody's hands.
Well,
Sometimes, yeah.
really simple terms. Priestess of Hecate, priest of
Of-
Hestia.
Yes.
I want to make sure everyone's comfortable, at ease, relaxed, is taken care of. She wants to make sure people are learning and taking care of their shit.
I make you do your work, and I make you do your shadow work, because that's Hecate. She's like, it's shadow work time. You need to learn a lesson. I ask, why do you think you're reacting that way? And some people don't like to be asked that, but I want you to dig deep. And there's been people that have not liked that. I'm mean, I guess, but I'm really not. I'm not mean about it. I'm like, hey, let's talk about this.
She's speaking truths out loud that they don't want to hear.
I will speak the truth, but that's
the responsibility of our role.
And he's also a priest of Pan. In our coven, we follow Hecate and Pan, so there's a lot of playful energy, a lot of that. And I'm the organizer. I'm like, okay, we got to get shit done. We got to do this, and we got to, So. But we switch a lot too.
Yep.
There are times when I ask him, hey, can you talk to this coven member? I just don't have the energy right now.
Yep. Or there's things that I'll notice, and I'm like, you know what? This needs to be handled right here like this, and I'm sorry, no hurt feelings, but shit needs to be said.
And this is past coven, a lot of past coven members. We've had, right now it's pretty good what we do, but there's still discussions that need to happen.
Absolutely. And it happens amongst us, between each other, as husband, wife, priest, and priestess, that we have these conversations and say, hey, take off the priest or the wife hat. I need to talk to you as the high priestess. You need to watch this.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
It's a nonstop balancing and exchange of energy, and that's where we work with those energies in our life and in our craft. So can you give us any idea? How would you? Oh, go ahead, Maya.
Sorry, I was just wondering if I could ask a semi-topic, off-topic question.
Go ahead.
Fire away.
I understand that the roles of priest and high priestess are to teach, to mentor, to point in the right direction, and to smack upside the head when need be. What are the other roles? Because like I said, I have never even been exposed to the coven setting.
It depends on the coven and the tradition and the size of the coven. We have a tiny coven right now, so
quality, not quantity.
Yeah.
Your classic roles are high priest, high priestess, summoner, maiden, scribe, and
treasurer. If we're starting to do fundraising stuff, those are or they call it the purse warden.
Yes,
is the treasurer.
That's a trick for the school, right?
Purse warden.
Purse warden.
But those are the classic roles of a coven.
And basically the maiden is the one that assists the high priestess and will fill in for the high priestess if need be, and the summoner is who assists the high priest, and then you've got your scribe who takes notes at meetings and does a lot of the messaging and the
Coven Book of Shadows work.
Adds things to the Book of Shadows for the coven.
So like the secretary role.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the modern world, there'd be a secretary.
Yeah. I right now do the majority of it only because
we're a small group.
So hence why we're putting our feelers out because Mama needs some help.
Virgo here, super organized.
That's right.
I've already thought of good fundraiser ideas, by the way, if we want to talk about that on Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, we the only reason why the pandemic put a huge dent and a pause in a lot of the
We
activities
had a lot of plans
Yeah.
set up and were in motion literally the week things going on. We were supposed to start the next week.
Yeah,
And
and
then
then everything
lockdown
shut
happened.
down, and then everything we had planned out. So we're playing catch up, and also even now, like, oh, we're getting back out there, and now it's like, oh, we have to wear masks. Oh, I don't know if they're gonna shut down again. It's very up in the air, so it's very frustrating. The last year and a half has
Yep.
been really hard on this coven, only because we're so small and we need to get out there and show people what we're doing. But it's kind of hard when, the world got shut down. So hence the online presence. I'm trying to organize some online stuff too. So, but I was going to say, so after talking about this father energy, what do you think, how do you think you can apply that in your magical work?
Well, as somebody who doesn't have a strong father figure like here, I mean, Brad kind of fills that role a little bit, which maybe he shouldn't, but he does.
Mhm.
Learning to talk to yourself in a way that you would like to have that be like to, because you should be able to go to your dad and say, I just don't know what to do. And, you can't ask your dad if he doesn't know what he's doing either,
Yeah. Right?
you know? And
Yeah.
the other father figure I have lives so far away. Yeah, it's great. I'm going to get to hang out with him. He'll be here in probably an hour or two. But yeah, it's so like learning how to give that to yourself is something that I feel like I am missing in my magic, and like maybe need to work on that, which is weird because I have more projective than receptive in my chart, but whatever.
But
Yeah.
it's different having that conversation of having a different perspective, completely different than yours, to bounce off of.
Yeah.
But she's even said she's more projective in her chart. She has more projective than receptive, which that doesn't surprise me. You projective loudmouth.
I know, right? I am a
I
little
love
bit
you.
of a
No,
fire hat.
it's
Damn,
that
damn youngins.
darn Gemini. No. Oh,
I
I'm
know.
sorry. Maya, what's your sign, if you don't mind telling us?
All I know is December 28th is something like Capricorn.
You're a Capricorn.
Yes, that's all I know. I don't know the sun, the moon, the rising,
No, the
all the
sun.
fancy stuff.
Your sun sign is Capricorn. That's your sun sign. So
Okay,
I'm a Capricorn too. So
gotcha.
so yay Capricorns, yay Earth signs. Because I know that Bree is Virgo. She's Earth too. So the Earth signs win right now.
Forever grounded.
It would blow you over.
Woohoo! I like winning.
4.
Four.
It's 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, she's counting the twins.
Damn right.
Look at that. Look at that. Look, just Geminis. Okay.
Geminis.
I say it out of love because
I know you do, because you're married to one.
I'm married to one, and I have a Gemini, the twin columns tattooed on my back, so I better stay married to a Gemini, or if we don't stay married, I gotta marry another Gemini, so my tattoo makes sense. Anyway.
But you turn it into a temple.
Next husband. What's your sign? Oh, can't have you.
I can't have you.
Your sign doesn't fit.
Are you a Gemini, and do you cook really well? Yeah.
You're right.
Okay, how about you, Bree? How do you think you could work with that father energy in your craft after all what we've talked about and understand what it is?
I think that I recently kind of did it. I was what was it? The month of, I want to say July. I was doing things and going to the lake and doing all this stuff to avoid what I really needed to do. And so I had to kind of kick myself in the ass and say, hey, you need to stay in the house today. You need to grab your journal and you need to write down all these things that you're dealing with and that you're facing, figure out why you're reacting to it, and move forward so you can be better at what you're trying to be better at. And so I was trying to stop doing. I knew I had to do it, but I was wasting my time with other things to avoid it because I knew it was going to awaken a lot of truths that were going to hurt my feelings.
Mm.
And then
Well-
I had to give them to myself. But for 2 days, and I think it actually started off to be 2 days and ended up like 3. But
Yeah.
like I literally stayed in the house. I was crying a lot. I was writing these things down. I was realizing why I was reacting to them. And then I was realizing how I could change to not react that way and to react different with more love and more acceptance. And I think that that was one of the best things I ever did for myself. I think that that opened so much in my head and showed me how to turn it around.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized that, like, I always thought I was this good person here for good things to help people, but I still had these negative thoughts that were holding me back. And when I did that, that was when I transitioned. That was when I transitioned to a better self. It felt really, really good. But I had to kick myself in the ass and say, no, it's time to do this now.
Well, and it's interesting that you bring up writing and motivation. Those are the two things I heard. You motivated yourself to do something and you wrote down things. Those are elements of fire and air, which are predominantly projective energies.
Mhm.
Those are, so it's interesting that with maybe you not even realizing, but that you're using that as an example of working that father energy, you were really working with projective energy. So yeah, that's awesome.
Sweet.
Um,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maya, do you want to talk about it, or you don't? I know this is your first time and I don't want to put you on the spot. If you don't want to answer, you don't have to, but feel free if you think of a way.
Well, my thing is I'm having a hard time, I guess, maybe understanding the definition of masculine energy, of the father energy. Is it like the motivation? Is it the self-discipline?
Yeah. Yes.
These
Yeah.
are all different aspects of it.
Yes.
It's not all encompassing. It's what you associate yourself to those kind of energies, and how it speaks to you.
Focus, motivation, fire energy, and air energy, which is part of our elements that we study, are known as the projective masculine energy. It's not written in stone because we are entering a place of more gender fluidness where you can experience all these energies, but we want you to. I'm talking to what I'm assuming is someone who identifies as a woman, and already the women in this group have already talked about projective energy because we have it in ourselves. So the question is, in your studying of the craft, you say you're fairly new, and you don't have to answer it right now. This could be something you can think about and just, think about projective energy you can use in your craft in seeking knowledge. How is that projective? And you don't have to answer it. That could be just something you can think about.
Well, I will totally take you up on that, but I do have one thing that I do want to run by along that course.
Huh?
Is the self-teaching, the seeking of the knowledge, is that at that point the perceptive energy, or does that become the receptive energy?
Are you thinking about it, or are you doing it?
Doing it.
Then that would be the projective. The receptive is coming up with the idea. How is it going to make you feel? How is it going to impact you? And then there's a step
But
forth.
that's still male energy because that's air.
Well, no, but I'm saying
The thinking and the ideas.
of that aspect. But
That's more logical thinking. Logical has those.
but
What needs to be done, and then putting the action.
how is it going to make you feel? What are you going to gain from it? That's more the receptive, and that's your Western energy.
Yeah.
And then how is it going to affect your livelihood? That's your Northern energy. Then the step forth to going and doing something about it, finding a book, meeting a mentor. That is more of the projective.
Reading about it.
Taking the first step.
Like what Bree said, she wrote down things. She wrote down ideas, and then she put them into action. That is a projective energy right there. The act of writing, messages, reading, and then doing. Those are very projective energies.
All right. Well, then in that case, I can answer your question now, because that has been my most recent experience, was reaching out, contacting you guys, working on gathering up the knowledge that I feel I need.
Yeah, that's projective. That's father energy, and I put it in quotes.
Yeah. What we were talking about earlier when she had stepped out of what was the classic roles in the modern world, we're having to adjust this and redefine how we label these things. The concepts are there, but we just need a relabeling so to not take offense to others.
Yeah. We want to honor all, but we also our coven teaches traditional British witchcraft, British traditional witchcraft, which is very, the word is in there, it's traditional, but we're not traditional in the sense that only men can have this role and only women can have this role. That's not, it's about working with both energies. There's the polarity of it.
Like we've done cross-gender invocations.
Yeah, we do cross-gender invocations. He's invoked Hestia.
Hecate,
Hecate. I've invoked Pan. Zeus. We've invoked. We do work with gods and goddesses. So yeah,
because there's different energies and lessons to be learned with the different archetypes.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. And that actually, I do completely understand that one, because there for a while I was self-learning, I would actually invoke Odin.
Yeah.
There you go. Yes. So you're no stranger to working with that kind of energy within your craft, then.
No, not a stranger to it, just a stranger to what it was labeled.
Yeah. That's what we all do, though. We've been practicing this longer than we are talking about it. We just realize, oh, I've been doing this all along. That's witchcraft. Most of us have been doing this longer than we've been calling ourselves witches.
Yeah.
All of us have figured that out. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
right. When you were a little girl, what roles did you decide to play? Did you like to step into what would be considered a traditional male role?
Well, when I was little, I always had to play the husband.
Yeah.
The father. That when we play house, I was always the father. Always. But I didn't mind. I didn't mind playing it. I was like, whatever. Like, it didn't bother me. I was a tomboy anyway, so it was not a big deal. But we're coming up on our hour. 30 minutes or half. Our
hour?
Our hour.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I know.
That face.
So,
I love these meetings so much.
Oh, we love them too. We're going to do our card draw.
Yep. So we're going to go see our friend Madame Zola down the road, who likes to give us these magical, amazing one-card readings that really, really inspire and speak to us. Yes. So if Madame Zola were to pull this card for you, what was the feeling or the interpretation you would get that it means?
What does it mean for you right now today? What would this card say to you that you need to do or work on?
7:26 p.m. Pacific time.
Yes.
And we'll go around the room. Metaphorically speaking.
Yeah. Want to start with Ariel?
Yeah, Ariel, you've done this before. You can give us a start.
So it would say to me that I need to go back and protect that little girl that's inside.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Bree, do you have a...
When I see that card, I feel like I need to be better at disciplining when it comes to my daughter, especially taking on the father role of disciplining is hard for me because I don't like to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
But I know that it affects her in a negative way because she doesn't learn the truths of right and wrong sometimes if I don't. So I need to be better at doing that more so that she can be better at growing up and being a good human.
Yeah, makes sense.
Maya, did you get anything off of this?
I would probably say that I should buckle down on myself if that was drawn for me.
Yeah.
Tell me I need to buckle down more.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. There are no wrong answers. Only what?
Put the nose to the grindstone kind of concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
How about you?
I was gonna ask you first since I'm running it this week.
Sorry.
It's okay. Still love you.
Did I take over?
It's okay. Still love you. Still love you.
I just think of questions to ask.
I know.
That's all. For me, if I got this, go ahead. You hold it. Sorry.
Taking authoritarian, taking.
I'm a bossy person. If I got this card for me today, it might say, maybe slow down on being such a bossy bitch.
Chill out, boss.
This just means a lot because my dad having dementia and taking care of him. So this brings up a whole lot of symbolic things. Honor my dad, continue to honor him, even though it's very frustrating, and honor that ability within myself to have that energy as well.
For me, in my life right now, I am applying for a promotion at my work to go into true management instead of being a supervisor and becoming an actual manager. So it's taking that more authoritarian role in the business, in the company. So I have to separate the friendships I have with a bunch of the employees and reset the boundaries of me truly being their boss.
Being their daddy.
You're so bad.
Or good, depending on how you want to label.
I was gonna say
we're married this for a reason.
Yeah.
I know, but it was really funny.
Absolutely.
All right.
So I'm gonna put some stuff in the chat.
I have all my stuff here.
I know. So if we have helped facilitate a spiritual experience for you today, please consider donating to Children of the Crossroads ATC to help fund events like this. Your gifts of any amount are greatly appreciated, and donations may be tax deductible as Children of the Crossroads ATC is a 501c3 nonprofit. And you can make your donations to either our PayPal or our Venmo that are listed. We don't require it. We ask it as nice as a donation, but if you can't, we understand. But anything we get, we are appreciative of. So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, I got to share the picture too. I forgot.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say anything because I didn't want to take over.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. So let me go ahead and copy this real quick. And I'm going to...
Stab. She's feeling very stabby today.
Yeah. Married.
Married.
This is our term of married. So I have the picture in the chat. Go ahead and click on it, download it, save it. And if you cannot, let us know. Put your email in the chat and we will get it emailed over to you. Otherwise, we would like to say thank you for joining us tonight. We hope you can all join us again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
For the crone.
For the crone. And so that would be the third of the receptive energies. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording right now.
Say bye to the recording. Bye, recording.
Bye, recording.
Recording.